What's up? Welcome back to the Weekly Bugle podcast, where I'm one of your co-hosts, Tyler.
And I am your other host, Jesse.
And today we got a lovely trailer by Marvel. The beginning of the trailer, like add a little Stanley.
Narration,
Yes, there
I
you
guess
go.
you could say. Yeah, a lot of Stan Lee quotes. Yeah, it was really nice, touching. Yeah, I don't know, just really impactful hearing Stan Lee again talking about the world we live in and, how we need to
Mm-hmm.
love each other. But then also kind of the words also meshing into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah, really well done. Really, really touching. I appreciated that.
It's been a while since I've heard his voice. Like I haven't
Yeah.
watched a Marvel movie in a while, so it's been a while. It was nice though.
Yeah, for sure. And we got a ton of new dates
New
and
movies, well, not new movies. I guess you're right. Just dates.
yeah, some of them at least we know more officially what the lineup
Mm-hmm.
is. But yeah, a lot of these phase 4 movies were pushed back because of all of this COVID stuff. So yeah, it's kind of sad to think that like a lot of this we would have been like seeing
Like
now or
Black
like
Widow.
yeah, Black Widow for sure would have been like last year. We would have seen Shang-Chi and Eternals,
Do you
maybe
think we
even
would have?
Spider-Man.
Do you think we would have seen Shang-Chi already?
Yeah, that was supposed to be in like yeah, I can't remember what the initial release date was. Eternals was going to be right after Black Widow in like November. So it's interesting to see those Shang-Chi and Eternals have flipped.
Flip flopped, yeah.
Yeah, and then Shang-Chi was going to be in like March of this year, I think.
Okay.
Or maybe
So,
it's so tough cuz so many dates have moved around. I can't remember if it was this year or last year or what.
so in the trailer though, so we're gonna go kind of like movie by movie based,
Yeah.
like in the trailer. Um, at the beginning of the trailer, like the first half of the trailer is just like a little preview of all the Marvel movies we've seen, or like a little like a glimpse of them all, like what
Yeah.
we've seen in the MCU so far. With the voiceover, and then it shows movie by movie and release dates, and it showed us some footage of Black Widow, Shang Chi, and then Eternals.
Mhm.
So we'll kind of hit those movies first. With
Yeah, and I should say, just before we get into it, as far as what we're planning for like the entirety of this episode, is pretty much this isn't necessarily a trailer breakdown.
Correct.
We're pretty much going to go through this official release lineup, talk about each movie individually, kind of what we know, how they might tie into each other, what to expect, sort of deal, and we'll pretty much move through it that way. And then
Also,
also, yeah, spoiler warning.
yes. So we were filming this May 3rd, so things can change from here till then,
Mhm.
and some of this is spoilers because some of it might be true, but we have no idea on what's 100% true.
Yeah, specifically
Spider Man.
Spider-Man
Yes.
because you have some leaks that you wanna talk
Yes.
about
Thanks to Reddit.
thanks to Reddit, which, may or may not be legit. I'm leaning more towards the legit
Yeah.
side.
The we'll get into it. We'll get
Yeah,
into it with
yeah,
the
but
Spider
just
Man.
just so you know up front, if you maybe
Yeah.
are a
So
little bit
spoiler alert. This has been turn the podcast off and come back after you've watched the movie.
yeah, I don't know that they would want to at that point.
So just
But, alright, why don't we, oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
listen with your own caution. Listen with caution.
Yes.
So first movie is Black Widow. The release
Mhm.
date's July 9th, 2021. Um, so this movie's supposed to take place between Civil War and Infinity War, kind of seeing her reminisce about her old life, or maybe even go back to her life back in what is it, Russia? Is that where she's from, or is it Germany?
Russia.
Russia. Okay. Is there a difference between Russia and Germany?
Yeah.
Okay. My geography sucks. So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, she's Russian, and yeah. So Black Widow's background, if you're not too familiar, she was raised in the Red Room, which has been kind of alluded to in the movies, or that's where she was trained as a child to become an
especially in
assassin.
Infinity War, not Infinity War, in
Civil War.
Age of Ultron.
Yeah, Age of
That's
Ultron.
where we got to see that little glimpse.
Yeah, just a little bit of what the Red Room was like. I
Hmm.
know in the comics they've done some. I don't. I guess you call it retconning, but I read one where like Bucky was even training her at one point.
That's interesting.
And yeah, they ended up having like a relationship and all these different things.
It's
So it'd be
weird.
cool if maybe that was touched on in some way. I mean, Black Widow does allude to knowing of the Winter Soldier, although she said he shot her, so they
Yeah.
probably didn't have a relationship at
The,
any point. But he may have been involved in some sort of training.
yeah. Honestly, I don't really want to see a Bucky reunion with Black Widow because I feel like that's a waste of a movie that Sebastian Stan would be in. If
Be a
like a
fun
throw
cameo.
I think it'd be like a throwaway part. The only thing I'd wanna see in this would be a flashback to Budapest, because I wanna know what happened in Budapest with
I think they
Hawkeye.
have to, yeah, with Hawkeye.
But especially this is gonna be, Scarlett Johansson's last Marvel movie,
Mm.
and it's keeping all the fans, in the I mean, I'm sure some of us don't care, but there's still, like, a good portion of us that wanna know what happened in Budapest because they allude to it so much.
I want more Black Widow and Hawkeye in general. I feel
Mhm.
like that was a really cool setup in Avengers 1, and they kinda just didn't really go anywhere with that. She's even got the necklace with the arrow on it. So I feel like a relationship may have been in the making at some point until Joss Whedon decided that Hawkeye should have a family and Widow should date the Hulk.
No, yeah, which is weird.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
not a fan of those decisions, but, yeah, I would like to see a Budapest, even if
flashback.
it's just a small, yeah, just a small aspect of it. Would be really cool, get a Hawkeye cameo.
Mhm.
I mentioned, like, Winter Soldier, they might be doing what you're talking about and not having Winter Soldier show up. I guess you could maybe, I don't know. I was thinking maybe they could have something where Taskmaster was involved with training students at the Red Room.
I don't know how I feel about that.
He trains a lot of people. It may not have trained Natasha, but maybe he's training regular
Now,
students now.
Taskmaster is allegedly the villain of the movie. He could be, like, a side villain, but
Yeah.
hopefully, he is the main villain. And in the multiple Black Widow trailers we've seen, like, him use, like, the shield, we've seen him shoot arrows, and, there's even a scene where he kind of, like, shoots something out and, like, swings off it, kinda like a Spider-Man, and he even has, like, claws like Black Panther. So,
Oh yeah.
Taskmaster is he learns his opponent's moves, shows he's been studying the different Avengers, throughout the last couple of years, and, so it just shows that, like, how cool that is, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and if any of our listeners are like, "Who the hell is Taskmaster?" Basically, what he is in the comics is his ability is he has photographic reflexes, is what it's called, and he can learn an opponent's like fighting style just by watching them pretty much instantaneously. So if
Mhm.
you remember kind of like what Tyler was alluding to, him watching like multiple TV screens and watching the Avengers fight. And it's pretty cool. Like you mentioned the shield, him wielding the shield. And he's using moves that he had in Captain America Winter Soldier during that elevator fight. I think specifically when Cap stomps the shield back up onto his
Yes.
arm. Yeah, and it's cool because it's basically saying that there was a camera in that elevator, and now Taskmaster is watching the footage of that, and that's how he's getting these moves.
Hey, this isn't anything, like, spoiler related, like, I just thought of this. What
Mhm.
if, like, how would he get the footage from SHIELD during that time that you just alluded to with the fight scene? What if Sharon sold the footage and she hired him as the power broker? Which
That's a
would
cool
kind
idea. That could happen. You could even if Val could have given that to him because I
Mhm.
if you listen to our other episodes on the Falcon and Winter Soldier, which we will be discussing the ending of that too. I guess we should put a spoiler warning on that because that'll probably come up. It
Mhm.
may be
This
occasionally.
entire podcast is probably just a spoiler
Just
warning.
spoiler all over the place. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's safe. But, so I would say that's possible. I think it's also like, it's possible that you remember Black Widow leaked a lot of files, like Shield files and
Mhm.
Hydra files at the end of Winter Soldier. You could say that that was part of it and that now Taskmaster is able to get a hold of it. We've also seen, Thunderbolt Ross is chasing Widow, presumably.
But
So,
the only question, why would she leak that specific? Like, I think when I think of
she
files,
leaked everything is what I
yeah,
mean is
I know, but I don't think like I don't understand. I don't know what the purpose of be would to leak like archive video footage of Captain America whooping Shield agents' asses in the elevator. Like I
yeah, but
could
if
see
that's
like
saved,
classified documents stating like, oh, Shield has been monitoring X, Y, and Z person.
yeah, I
That's
guess
what
so.
I
I
think
mean
of.
that could be classified. I mean that's internal data. I'm just saying there are
Yeah,
many
no,
ways
no.
that he could get his hands on that footage. It could be more, I don't know, specific in that somebody gives him that information.
Another thing I'm kind of curious about. is his shield. I wonder if it's gonna be like Walker's shield, where it takes one punch and the
Oh,
shit just breaks. Like,
that's true.
have you thought about that? Maybe this is Marvel's first chance to make the shield adamantium.
That would be cool. I
It'd
don't
be
know
ve
that they had the rights to adamantium. Did they when they were making Black Widow?
I'm not sure,
Box
but
deal gone through?
you could always do, like, a reshoot, like, and instead of being like, "This is strong metals," you just say, "This is adamantium," or,
Yeah.
he has a mask on, so we don't have to see his face, and he's just saying this is adamantium. Like, he comes in, like, a week later to make, like, the voice part over, you know?
Yeah. Depending
So
on who's hired him too. I mean, we know Ulysses Claw was trafficking vibranium.
mhm,
So Taskmaster being in the underground or, at some point he may have been able to have dealings with Claw and or somebody who hired Taskmaster gets him the material to make him his own shield, to make him
yeah.
essentially a Captain America duplicate.
So that's something I just thought about also.
No, that's a good point. I didn't think about that at all. But that, yeah, I would maybe think Claw, if you wanted to go that route, you
Mhm.
could say that he somehow maneuvered his way into getting that for Taskmaster.
So do you have anything else for Black Widow? Excuse me.
Um, not too sure. I mean,
Actually,
it's oh, go ahead.
the only other person I'm really interested is Red Guardian because he's supposed to be like the Russia's version of Captain America.
Right.
But we see he's like a big burly dude. Like he isn't somebody who's jacked like Chris Evans was as Steve Rogers or uh we've Sam's such a new Captain America, but like Steve Rogers was. So instead he's like big and like he has a huge gut to him. And
I
I'm
think
kind of
it's
go
oh,
ahead.
sorry to cut
I'm
you off.
just
I was just saying, I think it's meant to like that at one point he was buff like Steve, but he's just really let himself go and just eats all the time and because there's
gotcha.
no need for him. I think
Ano-
that's the route.
Another thing is I wonder if his shield is vibranium as well, or because he has a shield as well.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's a lot of shields going on.
Yeah. I don't know about his. I don't know enough about Red Guardian, I guess. I mean, I know he's essentially like a Russian Captain
Yeah.
America type, but yeah, he'll be interesting. Yelena Belova is also being introduced in this, another Black Widow type. She's yeah, usually an antagonist. I know that they seem to have them kind of friendly in the movie as well.
Do you think she's going to take Black Widow's spot in the Marvel universe because she's kind of a similar character?
That's what I was gonna ask you. I could totally see her being set up to maybe
Take
take
that
up the
baton.
mantle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking also.
I mean, we don't know what's gonna happen to Yelena in the movie. I mean,
Yeah.
she could end up dying by the end of it, or maybe yeah, maybe she will live on to carry the mantle and become the new Black Widow.
Hmm.
Which I believe she has been Black Widow at one point in the comics. So
Okay, that's interesting.
yeah, you may have to fact check me on that. But yeah, she would be the one to take it up if anybody was. They're pretty identical. You remember in the trailer too, like their fighting style is very
Yeah.
identical. They're pulling the same moves on each other. So yeah, probably keep an eye on Yelena Belova, and she's probably the main carryover. I'm hoping Taskmaster sticks around. I really like Taskmaster as a character, so I'm really hoping that he's sticking around. I think he has a really cool move set, and I think he would tie in well to some sort of Thunderbolts movie or some sort of villain team, especially if they're incorporating someone like John Walker and maybe
Hmm.
presumably other villains. He would be a great fit. So I would like to see more from him, and I think he would definitely contribute to some interesting fights throughout the universe.
What's your girl's name again? Uh,
Yelena Belova.
I couldn't find nothing like a quick check. I'm sure she has. I don't want to say she hasn't, but like
Yeah,
doing like a quick Google search, I didn't see anything.
I'm pretty confident she has. I just second guess myself with comics a lot,
Yeah,
and my memory's trash. So
yeah, mine's not that much better. Um, so moving on to Shang-Chi. So I'm not familiar with Shang-Chi. All I know is Shang-Chi is the best martial artist that
right,
is going to be in the MCU. And he's supposed to be better than Iron Fist, who was allegedly the best martial artist at first. Does that make
Tech
sense?
or Iron Fist is like second best. So they're both bred to be, elite martial artists.
Mhm.
Shang-Chi is, to my understanding, not super powered at all. Iron Fist, has the
His
iron fist,
yeah.
but Shang-Chi is still the better fighter, and I believe he's considered the best fighter in the Marvel universe. So he's definitely a force to be reckoned with, and quite the introduction of a character. So expect some pretty good fights out of him, or at least when you bring someone like Shang-Chi into a movie universe, you got to bring the fighting in.
Well,
So
have you seen the trailers? The trailers look like well, there's only one trailer, but that fight scene on the bus looks really good too, and
yeah,
I like how it's like quick movements and everything like that. And it has like some Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon vibes, like in that forest fight scene.
yeah, for sure. And we're also getting the reintroduction
The
style of
Mandalore,
the Mandarin.
Mandarin. Yes, damn it!
Mm,
Did I tell you that story?
no.
I was trying to show Christina, my fiance, the Shang-Chi trailer, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
"Look, babe, this is the Mandalorian." And she's like, "No, that's Star Wars." And I'm like, "No, this is the Mandalorian." And after like a Google search and like going back and forth, she was right and I was wrong.
Yeah, that's pretty bad, especially since you have a Marvel podcast.
Yeah, I know it's terrible, right? It, like my like credibility like just goes down out the window.
Yes.
Like I knew he was like I knew it wasn't the Mandalorian, but I didn't know if I knew it was the Mandalore.
I know, I've known you for a while,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't call, yeah, I don't know what the word is, but you mix words up quite a bit and pretty often. So any listeners that maybe get like, did he switch those words up at any point over something? Yes, he did switch those words up. Just
Just
roll
go
with
with
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make him feel smart for a moment.
But it is the Mandarin that we're getting. It's going to be a little bit of a different take. So if you remember from Iron Man
3.
3, yeah,
Yes.
there was the Mandarin, and then there was the reveal that it's not the Mandarin, it's some guy named Trevor who's an actor impersonating the Mandarin. Yeah, really not so great twist. And then there was like a short clip later that suggested that the Mandarin still exists
Yeah.
somewhere. So I don't know how the tie is necessarily going to happen with that, if we'll get Trevor mentions or not.
I hope
But we
not.
are getting the Mandarin in this movie. He's going to be a little bit different from how we know him from the comics. The Mandarin, there's the 10 rings, of course, which is in the title of Shang-Chi. It looks like they're changing it up because they don't have rings on like fingers. It's bracelets this time on their forearms in the trailer, which
But that's
is
just like
strange.
his Goonies. That's not like him. Like he could still have rings. Like that might just be their way of having powers.
I don't, it looked like they were wearing them on their bracelets, like
But that's what
as
I'm saying. Like
bracelets.
that's what I'm saying. Like it could just be the goons, like his like tough guys. Like it might not be him. Like he still might have rings because even in the trailers and the like logo, there's like rings on the top and there's rings on the bottom.
Yeah, but you can't really gauge the size. I don't know. It
No,
just
and you don't see his hands either. But
yeah.
I really want to say that they wouldn't like fuck something up that much by going from rings to the to bracelets.
I guess it depends on how they do it, because I've seen it suggested through through different platforms. This isn't an idea of my own, but that maybe like a bigger being originally had the rings, and that maybe someone like Fing Fang Foom, a giant dragon, at one point had them, and they were rings for him, but now with humans on them, they're more like bracelets.
Bracelets. The
Yeah,
movie's even called Legend of the Ten Rings. So like
yeah.
I can't imagine them saying like it calling them rings and then it's just people's bracelets.
But ring is, well, they wouldn't call it bracelets, but rings as in like a
Circles or
circular
oval
metal,
options.
yeah. So
Okay.
a ring to a giant being
Dragon.
would
And
be, yeah.
we see a dragon or like a big ass lion or something. Like there's some kind of beast. I don't remember what it is now in one of the trailers.
Yeah, so but the 10 rings will be a thing. Each ring has its own power associated with it, not quite like the Infinity Stones, but kind of like on a lower scale. But yeah, accumulating those 10 rings can give you quite the wealth of power. Not really like world altering, I don't believe, but I guess it depends on the rings. There's 10 of them. I can't remember exactly which ones. Feels so inadequate on this. But as far as Shang-Chi, yeah, fighter, but also, sorry, with the Mandarin also, it looks to be he's going to be Shang-Chi's father in this, which isn't typically the case. So they're kind of blending those two characters together.
Hmm.
And yeah, so there's a few different ways. I've read a little bit of the most recent Shang-Chi comic, and I know a little bit of that story is like Shang-Chi was there's like different sects in the I said that weird. Like sections of people is what I this is how I meant.
you,
SECTS.
you just pulled on me.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to audio listeners are like, they're doing what in this movie? Yeah, no, there's like
It's a
different
softcore porno, guys.
yeah, it's different. I'm trying to think of good words now instead. Different regions or like different families within the where Shang-Chi was raised. I'm blanking so hard right now.
Like, is
But
different. Like, there's different types of families, different ethnicities.
sort of um yeah, I'm blanking on the word, of course. But
Here, while
tip
you think about that, take a second thinking about that
all right.
because he has 10 rings. So each ring or bracelet, maybe in this movie, has
Yeah.
different powers. So I looked up the powers. I figured that'd be something that's kind of interesting. So straight out of the comics, the pinky on the left hand has an ice blast. His ring finger has a memento intensifier. It like psychic energy, enabling him to mentally control a person. His middle finger has an electro blast. Index finger has a flame blast. His thumb has a white light, which obviously is going to emit light to like blind you.
Mhm.
His right hand has a black light, which is kind of cool. His ring finger on the right hand has a distinguishing beam, destroys bonds between atoms and molecules, causing in an object's cohesion to fall apart. So basically, he can like you know disintegrate people, but it does need 20 minutes to charge between uses. His middle finger has vortex beam, index finger has an impact beam, and his thumb has a matter rearranger, which actually sounds kind of powerful if you think about it.
Yeah, that does sound pretty cool.
And because you have mentioned comparing them to the different Infinity Stones.
Yeah, because I think at first you would think maybe, okay, you collect all 10 stones, now you control the universe like a Thanos thing. It's not like that. These are more like having like 10 weapons,
10
like,
powers, yeah, 10
yeah,
different
10
powers.
superpowers or
I
something
wonder
like that.
how he gets them also. Like, I don't know how he does it. But it's kind of cool though that he has essentially 10 powers, 10 different types of powers that, Shang-Chi is going to have to overcome.
Right.
Did you figure out what you were trying to say
I
now?
think the word that I was hoping for was more like clan, was what
Gotcha.
I was,
Okay,
yeah,
fractions.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, now we got the words.
Yeah.
Factions, clans. And yeah, Shang-Chi was meant to take up one of them, but he like goes to Earth instead and yeah, just gets called back into it essentially. So yeah, we don't know much about it. I don't know how the Mandarin is gonna play into it or what Shang-Chi is gonna have to overcome necessarily. But he's definitely an interesting character. I would love to see if it eventually led into something like Iron Fist and maybe like the seven capital cities of heaven, all these different worlds that you can explore. So Shang-Chi could open the door to a lot of that. And Iron Fist is often, they kind of feature in each other's comics, mostly Shang-Chi, I think, in Iron Fist. So I expect quite a lot from Shang-Chi. I don't know. I'm looking forward to him the most, I guess. Just out of like fight scenes and that
The
universe.
I'm looking forward to him towards the fight scenes, but to be honest, I'm not sure how he's going to handle versus like team up movies because of course he's going to have to be in the team up movies,
Hmm.
but because he's not going to just be like a standalone character. So like think of like the next big bad guy. Let's just say it's um Galactus, right?
Hmm.
Like what is he going to do to help fight against Galactus? Like he's going to be fighting like Galactus's minions while like, uh I don't know, like some like Thor is like throwing his hammer at him or his axe. Like you know what I'm saying? Because he
Yeah, I
doesn't have
guess.
any type of like he's really good at martial arts, but that's going to be a limit. Like
I
it's
don't
not
know.
like Peter Parker who has his Peter Tingle and his spider webs and his super strength and his agility and like all these different things Spider-Man has are even Peter Quill, he's like part god and he can fly around with space boots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like what's Shang-Chi gonna unless he gets the 10 rings after if he wins, you know? Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
I doubt he would use it. I see what you're saying. I think that's maybe more of a problem with the villain that they choose or how to overcome it.
Well, I feel like they've already chosen their villain. I think they're just getting ready to build towards it.
You think it's Galactus that they're building towards?
No, no, I was just using him as an example. Like it could be Galactus, it could be Doctor Doom because Fantastic Four has been, approved.
Yeah.
But I was just using, him as an example because isn't Galactus in Ant Man?
You're thinking of Kang.
Kang, damn it, Kang. But but okay, but regardless, like it could be Kang, Doctor Doom, Galactus,
Yeah.
Thanos could come back. But I don't see what Shang-Chi would do versus a big bad.
I think he would still be very effective. You figure a lot of martial arts sometimes is like redirecting a stronger opponent's momentum and using it against them. He probably has good knowledge of like pressure points and stuff. I could see him definitely overcoming.
Thinking about it, like Black Widow and Hawkeye like did their work against him, and like Hawkeye just
Yeah,
shoots an arrow, and Black Widow had like sticks.
that's what I mean is whatever the bigger enemy is, there's always going to be these like more human style heroes that we have. We're getting Kate Bishop, who's going to be a
Another Hawkeye.
hero, and yeah, I'm trying to think of maybe more human natured ones, but I think that's always going to be a thing. It just depends. Galactus would be a tough one in general, but he may be a villain just for cosmic movies,
Yeah,
or
I don't
I
know.
don't know if we'll
I
ever get to Galactus, so we're probably spinning our wheels on that, but
Well, I think we have to get to him eventually for Marvel, but I think I'm
I
just
hope.
over. I think I'm just overthinking the
Yeah, I think
fact that
so.
he's like a human, and I have to think that there still has been multiple humans, even
Yeah.
though like some of the humans we've seen are like super powered, like Black Panther, super enhanced, like Black Panther, Bucky, and Steve.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
No, you're good. I guess we'll leave Galactus for like maybe another topic because I
Yeah,
think we could go on a long time about where
yeah.
Galactus could
I was
end
just
up and
using
how
him
you
as
go.
an example,
No,
like
no, I
because he was
feel
the
you. It's
first
just
one that came to mind.
I get excited someone brings up Galactus. I want to talk about Galactus.
Did you want to move on to the next movie? By the way, Shang-Chi's release date, I'm not sure if we said it, was September 3rd, 2021,
Yeah, I don't
as
think
of
we
right
did.
now.
So yeah, so not yeah this year. So pretty soon. Black Widow was also announced to be releasing on Disney Plus as well.
Yeah,
I think you still got to pay
40
whatever
bucks or
their
something like
fee
that.
is. It's like
30 bucks.
30. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can go see it in theaters. I didn't see if Shang-Chi was going to be like that. I imagine they're holding out for a theater
Yeah, I'm sure they
release for
really want
him.
that.
I guess that'll be kind of down the road if they decide that Disney Plus is necessary still.
Hmm.
But yeah, I guess we can get into Eternals.
Eternal. So Eternal's release date is November 5th, 2021. Um, I don't know much about the Eternals, if I'm being 100% honest.
Hmm.
I do know we mentioned I just mentioned to you off the podcast about Kit. I think his last name's Harrington.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
The actor.
Yeah, he went from Lord of the Rings to Marvel. Like you can't go do any better.
Game of Thrones.
What I say, Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
God damn it, Game of Thrones. I even said it right when we were talking about it at the beginning.
Yeah,
He
earlier
went
you
from
did.
Game of he went from Game of Thrones to Marvel. So it doesn't get any better because those are Game of Thrones. Everybody loves Game of Thrones. I've never seen it. Have you watched it,
Wow.
Jesse? Have you
Yeah,
watched
yeah,
it?
I've seen it. Uh-huh.
I haven't seen it. Well, when I heard about it, it was like season 5, and I didn't want to jump on the trend. I didn't want to be like, oh yeah, let me hop on that because everybody likes it.
Yeah.
So but you can't transition to do anything better if you want to join from one successful franchise to another. Other than that, Angelina Jolie's in it, Selma Hayek,
Hmm.
uh, Gemma Chan. I don't know who that is.
She was in the Captain Marvel movie. She played the blue lady that gets blown up by Monica Rambeau in the ship.
Gotcha. Okay.
You remember her name?
Her name is Cersei, Sersi, in the movie
No, I
anyway.
mean in the Captain Marvel movie.
No, I'm sure that's her name again. No, I don't remember it
I
then.
don't remember. Cersei's a character in Eternals.
Yeah, and then Richard Madden's also. You said he was from Game of Thrones as well.
Yeah, he's also from Game of Thrones. He was in a couple seasons. So, quite the caliber of actors that they've gotten
Yeah.
for it. Gemma Chan being is she now the first person who's had uh two roles in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
No.
Because who else would? Who else has?
Anthony Mackie is Smiling Tiger, and
Yeah, I guess sort of. I
but
mean, like,
no,
was in another movie
I
as a
think
different
that's
character.
I think that's probably no, there's that he was in the Howling Commandos with Captain America. He's an Asian
Oh
guy. He was
yeah,
also Peter Parker's principal.
Principal. Yeah, that's right. They
I
did
don't know his
that.
name. He's like it's like a very small role in both spots,
Yeah,
and her first role in Captain Marvel is kind of small too. So, but those are two reoccurring people that have had multiple ones.
they tied it in saying like, yeah, that the Howling Commando was his grandfather,
Grandfather,
something
yeah,
like that. So they were at least related in that way. I
hmm
guess what I mean is Gemma Chan is playing like two very
different,
different
yeah.
characters. Yeah, they were kind of like, oops, we wasted her on this other character, so we'll bring her back.
Also, the director, I don't know her name, but she just won an Oscar for a movie, so she
Chloe Zhao, I think, if I'm pronouncing
something
that
like
right.
that, yeah, something like that. But yeah, she just won an Oscar for Homeland, Nomadland, or something like that.
I'm not too
But
familiar with her.
no, I'm not either actually.
But,
I
yeah, I mean, getting
Chloe
an
Zhao,
Oscar, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So I expect that she will
come
bring
with her A
quite
game.
the yeah, yeah, for sure. So I am expecting quite a lot. Eternals is an interesting one. I'm putting that kind of in the realm of Guardians of the Galaxy, not thematically, but in that it's a group of characters that are
Misfits,
relatively unknown that
yeah.
Marvel is going to shape in whatever way they want to make them really big popular characters. So typically I think everyone heard you're doing Eternals but at this point Marvel does anything, I trust them. It's
Yeah.
going to be good. And I imagine it does give you a lot of flexibility to take unknown characters and really make them what you want.
So
But
doing a quick Wikipedia search, they are described as an offshoot of the evolutionary process that created sent excuse
sentient.
yes, sentient life on Earth. The original instigators of the process, the alien celestials, intended the Eternals to be the defenders of Earth, which leads to the inevitability of the war that destructive counterparts.
Here, I'll try to boil down what I know into,
Yeah.
because I don't know a lot of good English, so it kind of dumb it down. But the Eternals is basically going to take place. Uh, they are that they're eternal. They've lived for thousands of years and have existed alongside the Earth and are pretty much there in the early days. And basically, Thanos is I believe he's considered an Eternal, but he's also considered a deviant, which is why he's purple and looks different. And I believe the deviants are like the enemies of the Eternals. You know, they kind of end up fighting each other. So the Eternals, they each have their own powers and they're, strong cosmic beings. So what we'll see for the Eternals is, I assume Marvel is wanting to kind of build up an understanding in the cinematic universe of the early days of the Marvel universe and how that was going around the time of Thanos, because we kind of got a little bit of a hint of that when he was talking about Titan and how all his people were wiped out
Yeah.
at one point. So I imagine it would be cool if in the Eternals we did go back to Titan or saw something like that, or maybe saw a young Thanos. Uh,
Um,
mhm.
Thanos is a mutant member of the race of superhumans known as Titan Internals. The characters possess abilities common to the Internals, but amplified to a higher degree through a combination of mutant internal heritage, bionic amplifications, mysticism, and power bestowed by the abstract entity Death. So
Ent-
basically, he's like a mutant superhuman. He has eternal like heritage. So you're right.
okay.
I just
Sorry.
yeah, I just kind of
Okay.
you like gave you guys got real squinty. So like yeah,
Yeah, I got lost a little bit in there. But
if
yeah, I think basically Thanos is very strong. Eternals are very strong. They have their own powers. Yeah, so I guess it could give more backstory to Thanos, which I think would be cool. I'm speaking as if Thanos is going to be in this movie. I have no idea. He very well might not be,
yeah.
but he's the only one that we know in the cinematic universe that kind of ties back to the
So
Eternals a little bit.
I have a question. Where were the Eternals when Thanos like was like I'm gonna wipe out the half the universe? Like if they're here to
I don't know.
protect Earth, like
Hmm.
where were they? Like where were they when aliens rained down? in Avengers? Where were they when Ultron decided to, pick up a whole city and drop it to destroy the Earth?
I guess that's what Eternals could give us is
Because
answers like that. Maybe they were dealing with something far greater. Maybe
because
they
I'm
were.
thinking it's going to take place like before Captain America, when like you're looking at the MCU order.
I'm thinking it's going to take place like, well, yeah, like way, way, way before
That's what I'm
Captain
saying.
America,
Yeah,
like thousands of, hundreds of
yeah.
thousands of
I
years.
think, and then it's going to have like an extra credit scene where like it shows them like in the present so that they can have that jump.
Yeah, it may bounce around. I'm not too sure. And you mentioned Kit Harrington. He's playing Black Knight,
Night. Hmm.
which I know him of like what would you call that? Like Renaissance.
Swordsman.
Yeah, yeah, that kind of time period, Knights of the Round Table sort of stuff.
Hmm.
So
King
I'm not
Arthur.
quite sure how he's factoring into it yet either. It might just be me being a little bit ignorant on that character because again, these are pretty obscure characters. I'm not even they're not
Right with
as if
yeah.
I'm like a huge mastermind on Marvel. I'm not, but I don't know a lot about them either. But I do know that they are ancient beings. Black Knight's not as ancient, I believe, but he will tie in. So and Black Knight I think has been an Avenger before. So I'm interested to see how he ties in and what his story is because we haven't seen his character show up in these little snippets really.
No, we haven't, and I'm kind of curious to how he's going to look.
Yeah, so yeah, a lot of mystery there, but I think Eternals will do a lot of world building. So I'm interested to see how that comes into play and maybe if it alludes to bigger cosmic beings in the world, like eternity or blanking, and there's infinity. There's there's a ton of like very very vast cosmic beings, like stronger than Galactus, and
Hmm.
so it goes quite a ways back, depending on how far they want to go. So yeah, interested to see what Eternals brings. Also interested that it's now pushed back farther than Shang Chi because it was
Yeah,
supposed to be before Shang Chi. I wonder if it's maybe because there's presumably more CGI involved with Eternals,
maybe I don't know.
that they're touching that up.
It's a possibility because I would imagine it has a significant amount of CGI
Hmm.
just because of how old they are. They Marvel likes to CGI all their backgrounds basically. If
Hmm.
they're going back to like that prehistoric, not prehistoric, but back that like 1600s, 1900s kind of look.
Yeah, and we'll
Uh,
probably be getting into the Celestials as well. I
hmm.
can't believe I forgot that, but we saw a little bit of glimpse of that in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, where we saw, I think it was Esson the Searcher with the Power Stone, and he had that hammer, and he basically wiped out a planet just by touching his hammer to the ground. So that was a celestial, and there are plenty more of them. So I'm sure we'll see some celestials. I think even in some of the concept art and graphics for the movie, they've shown the different celestials. So we should be getting more of that backstory as well. So yeah, quite a lot. Maybe even yeah, I don't know if we'll get anything on the stones, but
No, I think Infinity Stones
yeah, yeah.
maybe at the beginning, but after and after this Eternals movie, I kind of see the Infinity Stones kind of disappearing for a while. Like I don't see them coming back up for a while.
Yeah, I think they're probably done. I think they've played their part for the last decade. I think people are
Mm-hmm.
ready to move on from the Stones.
100%. But
Um,
we're go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say if you're ready, I guess we can talk
Ah,
about
damn. I was
Spider-Man.
gonna
You
say,
had a good transition.
yeah, I was gonna say, what we're not ready to move on from Spider-Man, but that was my transition.
I don't get it.
I was just trying to transition to Spider-Man.
Okay.
All right, so Spider-Man comes out December 17th. Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, this is all the information that I have pulled from different Redditor. Well, from one Redditor, and he released something. I want to say it was like very fact. He released the fact that Sam was going to unveil like the Captain America suit or something like that. And
Was
he
he
talked.
specific about it? Because I think we all guessed that he
He
would.
said that he said something along the lines like Zemo's going to get broken out of prison, and Sharon was the power broker, like before the series started.
Oh, okay. So he was able to. Sharon as the power broker is a big call.
Yeah. Well, also Zemo being broken out of prison because we didn't know. We knew he was going to be in it, but he could have been like an ally from inside the prison.
Yeah, I guess so. That was. I'm
not as
more.
big.
It's more impressive that he got the power
Power
broker, not
broker. Okay.
necessarily Zemo was in jail. We knew that.
All right. So this is what he said. It opens in court with Matt Murdock as Peter's lawyer.
Oh
So
shit!
that's it. That's going to be the cameo in the way to bring Charlie Cox back to the MCU.
Right from Netflix. Wow,
Yeah.
he's calling that. That's a big one if that's
That's
legit.
he said the other two Spider-Mans, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, show up in Act Two.
Hmm,
The final act takes place on the Statue of Liberty, which was made to look like Captain America.
that's cool.
And then the last thing was William Defoe being the only surviving villain because Doc Ock and Electro are supposed to make comeback in this movie.
Right, with their actors from those movies as well. Jamie
Amazing
Foxx is
Spy
Electro and Alfred Molina is Doc Ock,
from the
which
original.
is legit official. Like
Yeah.
Alfred Molina did in an interview just kind of come right out and be like, yeah, it's leaked anyway, so yeah, I'm Doctor
Yeah.
Octopus in the
And he
movie."
even said that it takes place exactly where Spider-Man 2 leaves off. Like his
That's cool.
his his spot takes place.
Even though he was presumably, well, we kind of assumed that he was dead at the end of that, but I guess you just kind of see him fall into water with
But
like a
there's like
sun on
there's
top of him.
and there's also an extra credit scene that kind of like because his claws, his
Oh, his tentacles
they
or
like blink out, and there's an extra credit scene where it comes back on.
oh, okay. I don't remember that. So
Hmm.
either way, they
Yeah,
can bring him
yeah,
back pretty
they always bring
easy.
him back. Yeah,
Because I think
so
Alfred Molina said the same thing in that interview. He was saying like, "Well, wasn't I dead in that movie?" And they're like, "It's comic books. Anybody can be brought
yeah,
back, so don't worry about it."
but that's the juice I got from that.
That's pretty impressive. And Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin coming back. Well, he was dead too, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
He was dead. He was
he
legit
was for
dead.
sure dead. Yeah,
Yeah, there was
because
no mystery behind that. But I guess there was also in those movies, Harry was seeing visions of
of his father.
Norman. Yeah, so I
Hmm.
guess maybe there was some way to bring that back. I guess it doesn't really matter because we
We're
want
not
them.
getting, and we're
And
not
if
going
this
to
is
get
a
Harry.
multiverse thing, we could just say it was a universe where he survived. You can write a way in,
Yeah,
but who cares? We want them back. It's
exact.
interesting that
Especially
they're keeping him alive, if that is in
well,
fact true.
maybe he stays as Osmond oh my god, Oscorp.
Norman Osborn, yeah.
Yes. Maybe that's going to be the Norman Osborn because he was a good Norman Osborn.
Yeah, well, I had seen this report before, and I kind of seen that speculation going, and then I think there were other reports that were saying that Willem Dafoe won't be the ongoing Norman Osborn, and that
Mm,
instead, or the idea is that Marvel have a pretty good idea of what they want. They want to bring Norman Osborn in. They want to, develop him, and they have more plans for him, but they want a specific actor. In fact, I think this was kind of like another rumor thing, not really sure if this is legit, but what the assumption is, and I think it would be cool if it played out, is that yeah, Peter sees Willem Dafoe's Norman Osborn being this awful, evil Green Goblin, and then when Tom Holland Spider-Man goes back to his own reality, and he kind of seeks out Norman to maybe preemptively
mhm.
stop it, see what's going on, and then he finds that his world's Norman Osborn is actually this really great guy. He's
That's
not
interesting.
goblining out, so it's kind of like this weird contrast, and Peter's not really sure what to do about that. And I think maybe the idea is over time that Norman Osborn
Slowly
starts to
turns.
develop and
Hmm.
yeah, becomes worse and worse, which would be really cool to see play out if they went that route.
Absolutely. Also, this isn't. He didn't leak this, or she. I don't know if it's he or
Mhm.
she. But the trailer for Spider-Man is supposed to drop like June or July. I did see that on something.
I guess that would make sense. How far are we from Shang-Chi right now?
We are Shang-Chi comes out in September.
So we're about 4 months away.
Yeah.
So okay, I guess that could make sense. That would be
Hmm.
around the time. I don't know how consistent Marvel is with dropping trailers at a
Yeah.
certain point
I'm not
before,
either.
but
But
it's probably more up to Sony. I think they make those sort of
mhm.
decisions.
But going back to I want to touch on a couple of the points.
Okay.
Bring in Charlie Cox. I think Charlie Cox. We've only had two Daredevils, one being Matt Damon. I mean Ben Affleck,
Mhm.
and one being Charlie Cox. Charlie Cox, like, how we say, like, uh, Robert Downey Jr. was born to play Iron Man. I
Mhm.
feel like Charlie Cox was born to play Daredevil. Like, he was a phenomenal Daredevil in the limited 3-season series that we got. So
Yeah, he
have
was yeah.
so even if he's just Matt Murdock and not Daredevil, I'd be 100% happy because that means they like him as that character and they're bringing him back some form. If it's a movie, if it's a Hulu series, because I don't know, I think they'd want to kind of keep that same level of like nastiness, kind of like where it's bloody and gory and like really
Oh, where it's more
actiony.
gritty? Yeah.
Yeah, gritty. That's the word I'm looking for. So I think, and Disney owning 60% of Hulu, I can see them putting that on Hulu. Um, what do you
Yeah.
think?
I could see that too. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm nervous. I would hate it if it was just Matt Murdock showing up as like this alternate universe, like oh haha, like the Netflix universe,
Roth
and then
Boner.
later we're gonna recast and do our own Daredevil thing, kind of how we're talking about with this Norman Osborn situation. I
Hmm.
would really hope that they're doing more like a J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson, and bring
Just bring
back
him
a
back.
beloved actor who really embodied a character and have them take that character from here on out. Yeah, I don't know if it necessarily has to tie into the Netflix shows. Those are so good for Daredevil that it would kind of suck to see that lore go away. But they're I don't know. It's kind of like is and isn't tied into the MCU at this point. The Netflix shows have been determined to really like any of the Marvel shows don't besides Disney Plus don't really apply
But yeah,
to the MCU. So, but I don't know if they're. I'm happy they're bringing back Charlie Cox. If they, but going that route, I want to see that be more of a permanent decision, not just a wink, wink,
haha,
nod
yeah.
sort of thing. Yeah, like oh yeah, here's Matt Murdock,
And
and now we're gonna
if
bring in
he's
somebody new.
if he is in the movie, I don't see him being in the movie longer than like 15-20 minutes. Like I see him having like 5 minutes of screen time because I don't see them keeping Peter in like court and jail and whatever the case in too long, if that
Yeah,
makes sense. Just because I feel like you don't want that hanging over him.
yeah.
Like,
If anything, if this is in fact more of a kind of permanent setup for Charlie Cox, then I would hope that then I would expect this to be more of a slow cameo experience, kind of an exciting moment that'll then lead into something maybe into phase 5 regarding Daredevil.
because I think I remember when he's like, when he finished filming, I think he was only like on the set for like 6 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think, and we they don't film things like in consecutive sometimes. Sometimes they might film the first, like in the first Spider-Man, uh, Homecoming.
Hmm.
The first scene they actually filmed was the scene where Peter's in the car
Oh, with Michael Keaton.
with Michael Keaton, yeah. In Captain America: Winter Soldier, the elevator scene was the first scene they filmed,
Oh, cool. Okay.
and so they don't always film movies in chronological order of what we see, which is kind of cool. So hopefully, you know, even if Matt Murdock's in like the middle of the movie, I just hope he stands out. I hope he makes a good imprint because I do want Charlie Cox back as Matt Murdock.
Yeah, I would like that too. Were you saying Charlie Cox was on set for 6 weeks?
What's is his name? Not Charlie Cox?
No, it is.
Yeah, yeah. He
You
was on
mean
set
for Spider Man or for
yeah,
Netflix?
for Spider-Man. He was on set for 6 weeks.
That's official for sure.
I think I don't know if it was official. I think it was like a Twitter thing that he like couldn't confirm or deny.
Oh, okay. That's interesting because yeah, if he is in fact in there, 6 weeks is a while to film too. Because if those are just a couple court scenes, you could probably knock that out in a week
Yeah.
or two, I would think.
Um, the second thing I wanted to talk about is I'm seeing a lot of things about Toby Maguire dying, like
Hmm.
giving his life, to like for the other two Spider-Mans, basically.
Hmm.
How would you feel about Toby Maguire like essentially dying?
Oh no, I guess that would be kind of sad. I don't really want to see Toby Maguire's cry face again.
Oh my god, I hate that face.
But also, out of the two, I would prefer Andrew Garfield's be the one to die. I would prefer Toby's live on. But
Absolutely, I would want Toby. I would want Toby to. excuse me, I'd want Toby to die, but I hate the fact that he does that like little like like when like
Scrunchy face.
yes, God, I hate that.
Yeah, he doesn't have a good cry face for sure. But I guess he would be the older of the Spider-Men, so maybe it would make more sense to let the younger generations of Spider-Man live on, if maybe
Well,
that's the idea.
I don't even see Andrew Garfield coming back if regardless. Like I think this is gonna be like a one up. Like he's
Oh
done
yeah,
nothing
for
else.
sure. I agree, but I'm just thinking lore wise, or why would he give up his life for the other two, or why would you want to write it that way?
Hmm.
Then that would make sense. Or maybe you would want to leave the door open for Andrew Garfield, I guess, but I don't think you would. So yeah, I don't know. And Goblin living, but Doctor Octopus dying. Yeah, it sounds very. Yeah, I don't know. I like it. I like what I'm hearing. It's just kind of surprising. Usually everybody lives at the end. In this
Yeah,
one, it's almost like everyone died. you know.
yeah. I'm not seeing anything now about Daredevil being on for 6 weeks, but I could have sworn like I wouldn't just whip 6 weeks out my ass.
Yeah,
Like
no,
that's
sometimes
such a
it can be
specific.
tough to recall, like, because I've tried to look up Twitter things and comments before, and Google kind of has a issue
And
bringing
six
those
weeks is
up.
just. I feel like 6 weeks is just such a like an accurate like amount to like whip out my ass.
Yeah.
Um, I don't have anything else for Spider Man. Did you?
Um, no, not too much. If we're doing a courtroom scene, I wouldn't be surprised to see Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk, maybe
I
show
don't.
up too.
I heard that she was, but then when Charlie Cox got confirmed, I kind of figured that wouldn't be because she's getting her own Netflix, not Disney Plus series.
Yeah.
So I don't think she's going to be in both.
Yeah, I always wonder too, as far as because those would be two defense lawyers. Because typically She-Hulk is defending superheroes, and Matt Murdock's a defense attorney.
But he's usually
So,
just defending innocent people. It doesn't always have to be superheroes.
well, I mean, but they're both on defense. Like, I wouldn't
Yeah.
expect to see Matt all of a sudden turning to prosecution. He might have done that a couple times in the comics, but just seems to you usually know him as a defense lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
So I would expect both him and She-Hulk. I'm just kind of guessing, but I could see two lawyers maybe showing up. Could be cool if they teamed up for this high profile case. I don't know,
Do
but
you
we are
want?
getting a She-Hulk show eventually.
Do you want Foggy and Karen to be there with uh
No,
Matt?
I want Foggy to be there. I did not like Karen in the show. And I
I
know there are so many Karen fans, and I would get a lot of hate for saying that, but it's just the way it is. That was one question I was going to ask you is if Charlie Cox comes back, that opens the door to our more Netflix characters coming back. And there are a lot that I would love to see return. Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin,
yes,
John Bernthal's Punisher,
yes,
Jessica Jones, Kristen Ritter.
yes.
But there's some that I'm a little bit more like, oh, maybe a recast wouldn't be so bad.
Luke
Iron
Cage
Fist
and
is my favorite character, like in the comics, but maybe we should recast that one. I don't know.
recast him right now. Who do you want?
Ooh,
Putting you on
I
the
don't.
spot.
I couldn't even tell you like we're off the spot. I'm not good at actor stuff. I have no recall on that. But
Because
I think you could find.
he definitely needs to be recasted right away.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for him because
I don't.
it wasn't really his fault, but I don't feel like he really embodied. I think even Luke Cage, I would like to see Mike Coulter return as Luke Cage.
No, I want to recast him too.
So yeah, I don't know. It opens those. I know there are a lot of people that really like Karen in the show. I didn't, but
I didn't either.
yeah,
I'm hoping she doesn't come back.
I could
So
probably be okay with a Foggy
I
recast
liked Foggy.
also.
I liked Foggy a lot.
It's
So
really just Kingpin and Daredevil that I would be like,
and John
those
Bernthal.
have to stay. Yeah, I mean, in that universe, I guess Punisher was in there too. So yeah,
Yeah,
John Bernthal.
John Bernthal has to stay for sure because
Mhm.
he he's just like he was born to play Frank Castle. Like you can see the misery in his eyes when he's playing. Not the misery, but like the pain
The
of like
emotion and
losing his family. Yeah.
yeah, he got himself into that mindset for sure. So yeah, I would like to see some of them return. I know that gets kind of rough. Like, what if they want to bring back three of the defenders, but they want to recast Iron Fist? Like, that's such a slap in the face to that actor. It's so
But I mean, who's also from Game of Thrones?
yeah. He was in Game of Thrones for a little bit.
Do you remember what he did in Game of Thrones?
He was like a
This is the only Game of Thrones thing I know.
he was like a prince, but he was also gay, I believe.
I just know he gave a dude a blowjob. That's all I know.
Yeah, he did have that scene.
I
I
can't
remember
have I can't have that being Iron Fist.
I remember when that news broke and that was the thing going around was like, "Oh, he's the guy from Game of Thrones going to be Iron Fist," and they'd send you the clip and be like, "Oh, yeah, well, that's
Well,
not what I pictured." But hey, he was good in the show. I watched it. I liked his character. He was a good actor there. I mean, so I just didn't like the way Iron Fist went. But I guess that's quite the digress. So
yeah.
we still have a few more movies to get through. So
So let's move on.
mhm.
So moving on to next year, we have Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, March 25, 2022. And Kevin Feige has confirmed that this will be Marvel's first horror movie. Like every Marvel comic book movie fits into its own little genre. Winter Soldier's espionage. Um, Spider-Man: Homecoming is a coming of age high school.
Hmm.
Uh, Ant-Man is a comedy heist. So each movie has its own little genre, but I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to make this a horror movie. Like, what's it going to, how's it going to look like? Honestly, after Spider Man, I think I'm most excited for this movie.
I would say so too. As far as the horror elements, I'm not gonna get too excited on the horror thing just because the original the director left. The one Scott Derrickson was the one who directed Doctor Strange 1, and he is a horror director. If you've ever seen Sinister, that was him. That was a really good horror movie,
Hmm.
one of my favorites. And I think the understanding, I think they kind of made him kind of, pull the reins back a little bit on his horror elements. And I think the idea was he had ideas for maybe what he wanted to do, maybe in a sequel. And I don't know, it just, and then he ends up leaving over creative differences. It just makes me wonder if maybe he wasn't able to explore those horror elements the way that he wanted to.
Well, because it still has to be PG-13. It can't
It,
just jump to R.
well, yeah, I know that, but I don't know. I get excited thinking like, "Ooh, a horror movie, Doctor Strange, that could be really trippy," and Scott Derrickson, and all these things. And then maybe now that he's leaving, it makes me a little, uh, I don't know.
Hesitant.
I just don't want to get all hyped and sold on the horror aspect. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if it's never really pitched that way much. But I will say that I do have more excitement over who replaced Derrickson was Sam
Sam
Raimi. We
Raimi.
were talking
Yeah.
a lot about Tobey Maguire's Spider Man. Sam Raimi was the one who directed those, and then Sam Raimi also has a background in a lot of horror movies. You might even remember in Spider Man 2 how kind of creepy Dr. Octopus was when his tentacles emerged, like when he was in the hospital. I remember, if you remember that scene when like his
Hmm.
tentacles are going crazy and like murdering everybody in the
And
hospital.
he's like face down.
Yeah, it was really well shot. So I know Sam Raimi can pull off some really good horror cinematics. I think he's the guy. He's the guy for the job. So I'm expecting that he'll meet those metrics. So he'll probably have some little horror flair in there, but I don't know that it'll be like scary.
I also think Wanda is going to be in it. Wanda Maximoff, Elizabeth Olsen. I feel
Scarlet
like
Witch.
it's gonna take place like right after uh the WandaVision. Also, did you see Kevin Feige today? It was either today or yesterday. He said that Doctor Strange originally was going to be at the very end of WandaVision.
Yeah, I was waiting for him. I was like, he's surely going to be in this. Like we know that WandaVision leads into Doctor Strange and the
Hmm.
Multiverse of Madness, so I was surprised that he wasn't in there. I don't remember if they gave a reason in that article for why he wasn't.
He said like I saw it, but like it wasn't something like I wanted to bring up. It
Yeah.
was like kind of like a tone deaf kind of answer, like something about like he didn't want to add like another white man or something like that.
Oh, really?
Like
Something like that?
it was something along the lines of like that. I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
am super excited because Doctor Strange, the first one, is by far it's in my top five of Marvel movies,
Oh, really? Okay.
and it's number four. So I just thought it'd be. I can't wait for the sequel. So Kevin Feige said some people might say, "Oh, it might have been so cool to see Doctor Strange, but it would have taken away from Wanda. We didn't want the end of the show to commoditize to go the next movie. Here's the white guy. Let me show you how the power works." So he didn't want Doctor Strange basically to come in and be like, "Hey Wanda, let me show you how to use your power."
Oh, I guess they were nervous that Twitter would blow up that a man is showing
A
a
woman,
woman how to
yes,
use
in
her
in
power.
2021.
Yeah, I guess this is an issue we face all the time nowadays. You got to consider these things as unnecessary as they may be. I don't know. I like that she was in the Darkhold, learning all of those things.
Yeah,
Strange doesn't even know the Darkhold, so I don't know why
she's
he would even try to teach
she's
her.
probably because he's been doing sorcery for like what 5 7 years now.
Yeah.
um and then she just now learned she's a witch, so maybe that's like, hey, you're a witch, I'm a wizard, let me show you some stuff. Doctor Strange came out in 2016, so um maybe, what, 5 years he's been a wizard for 5 years,
Hmm.
so maybe that's the reason. He's just
Yeah.
had more practice, like mastering his craft, while she knew she had powers, but she didn't know to the extent of how powerful she was.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense in that regard. I don't know. I wouldn't have a problem with it. And nobody had a problem with it when Strange was taught how to do magic by a woman
Hmm.
before, from the ancient one. Strange is the most practiced wizard on earth now. So, yeah, I wouldn't really, but I'm not mad at Feige. I'm more mad at like the world we live
The
in. That this
society.
is this is things you have to consider that, people might take offense.
So I have a
These
question. Do
things.
you think Wanda's going to be the villain? Like, what if she comes out to be more powerful? Like, what if she spends like the next 2 years in this little hole, in that little what'd you call it?
Like a shack?
No, not the shack. Where she's
Cabin?
not the cabin. Like she's in like thing mastering her spells.
Oh, the Darkhold, the
The
book.
Darkhold.
Mhm.
Yeah. What if she spends the next 2 years straight doing that, and she comes out stronger than Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? Do you think she's the villain?
She very well could be. They like to use the word antagonist, and I'm gonna use that too because she might be because she's a hero in our book, but she might be using her powers in a way that like in WandaVision, kind of using it
Yeah.
without really understanding what she's really doing. And
Hmm.
the Darkhold is dark magic. So if she's delving deep into that, then yeah, she could totally start to change things and be an issue. I remember in the comics, Strange is the one that pretty much comes down to the Avengers, like during like the House of M stuff, and is like, yeah, Wanda's messing with some magic she doesn't understand, and he sees her as an antagonist, and he's trying to convince the Avengers that no, she's not your Avenger friend anymore. Like she's yeah, handling power she does not fully understand. Because Strange has had to take all this time to learn like the magic and go
Hmm.
through the spells, and he's really taken the time to educate himself to gain that power. Wanda just has it. She just has all this power.
Yeah.
So we see that in WandaVision where she's just corrupting a town for her own good and not really aware of it, even to a sense. So now if she's dealing with black magic, then yeah, then I could totally see her maybe deal like she could have a very big impact on the
Um.
universe going
Yeah.
forward. And you remember in House of M, this has always been like a big theory. I like it a lot. Is in that comic series, she says no more mutants and eliminates the
All but
mutant
six.
gene. Yeah, and then but it would make sense to me. It could be a good way to reverse that, take the no out of that, and just make it more mutants or mutants. And then
Hmm.
suddenly we have the X-Men in there. It could be kind of a
But how would
easy
she?
way to bring them in.
I'm like, how would you even go about doing that? Because like she's a mutant in the comics.
Hmm.
So she says no more mutants. That makes 100%. But as
Yeah.
of right now in the MCU, we don't have mutants. So
Hmm.
she can't just randomly be like, yes, mutants.
Well,
Like,
yeah, I think you could write it in a way to have that make sense that maybe that she comes up. I mean, mutations is a word. People mutated
yeah,
with
no,
some sort
yeah,
of
yeah.
power. They can use that word now because before they couldn't use the word mutant. They had to use enhanced. So
Do you think maybe she says make more enhanced people, and then we just slowly start calling them going from enhanced to mutants?
Something, yeah, I could see some way to weave it in a script and move it to that to where Wanda, for whatever reason, maybe wants more superpowered people, or I don't know. But I'm
Yeah,
just
no,
thinking if
I'm
you're
just
trying to find a way to bring in mutants, I think that's a pretty easy way to
easy
do it when you have somebody who can shape.
the
Uh,
world around them.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious to like, how do they going to go about doing it? And sometimes the easiest route isn't always the right route. So even though she can, create them just like what you're saying, I
Hmm.
don't know if necessarily that's the right thing Marvel should do.
Yeah, I don't know
I
how
don't
else they would bring them in
I don't
though.
like the idea of them being there all along and just hiding in plain sight. Or
Yeah.
like I've heard that. I've heard like and then the X-Men are like a black ops team like doing missions like under the under everybody's nose that nobody knows about. I don't like that idea either. So
Yeah, because you have to even just Wolverine is tough to explain because he would have had to have been back in all these wars, even maybe
yeah,
fighting alongside Captain
Captain
America.
America, exactly. Like how many times has he gone against Bucky and
Hmm.
they just we just never saw it. Which that would be a cool flashback to see Wolverine and Bucky going toe to toe and Wolverine ripping his arm up. Bucky
Hmm.
That'd be super funny because Bucky would then get his arm ripped off by Isaiah and then blown off by Iron Man and then cut off by Wolverine. Like Bucky would have taken some massive damage.
That would be crazy. But yeah, I like that idea the best. I don't know how else you would bring mutants in a way that would make sense to them having been there the whole time.
Yeah. I mean,
And there's a rumor that the movie might just be called Mutants, whatever that is. That I mean, a rumor again. I don't know that this is
um,
legit, but
what if this is called the multiverse of madness? What if, they go into another universe and there are mutants
oh, that would be a
and
good way to do it. Yeah,
and then they bring those some of those mutants to us.
yeah.
Like,
Then she would know. Hey, yeah, I like these or something. I
mhm.
don't know what her motivation
Yeah.
would be, but at
Well,
least she would be cognitive of
the mutants,
mutants.
yeah.
Yeah, and maybe considers. Maybe she thinks we need more superheroes now that we don't have Iron Man, we don't have Captain America. Maybe
We
we
don't have
flare out
Black
the
Widow either.
mutants. Yeah. Well, she's but like super powered.
Yeah.
Thor's
So
off in space. Who knows where the hell he is? We haven't seen Captain Marvel. Right now they have like Spider Man. They
Th-
have Falcon, who's Captain America, but he's not super powered.
we have Captain Marvel. We
She's
have
somewhere.
in
We don't know
space
what's
too.
going on with Captain
Yeah.
Marvel. People don't seem to even like her now.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, that I mean that is interesting. I just thought about that though.
I like
Uh,
that idea, though. I like that.
you have anything else? Are you ready to move on?
Yeah, we can move on from Strange.
So the next movie is Thor: Love and Thunder, which comes out May 6th, 2022. And we're finally getting a Christian Bale in the MCU. Christian Bale, one of the best actors, in my opinion, that we have in Hollywood right now. He's
Yeah,
somebody
for
who
sure.
gets so, committed to his part. Do you know who he is exactly? I
Yeah,
forget. I know he's a
or I don't
villain.
know that it's official, but I think he's probably Gore the God Butcher.
That's the name I'm looking for.
Hmm.
Yeah. We also have you seen the pictures that have been released?
Yeah, he's really thin. He's going like machinist for this
Yes.
role.
Not
Hmm.
as quite as skinny.
Not that thin. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but he's
he's not
super thin.
Batman. Hmm.
Yeah, he's not Batman anymore. He's not Machinist, and he's definitely not American Hustle big or Dick Cheney big.
Hmm.
Have you not seen those movies? No.
You kind of cut out for me for a
Oh, I
second,
said
but
he's not American Hustle big or Dick Cheney big. He's super small.
oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's
He's
thin.
very very thin is what he's
Um,
looking like right now, and
and
bald.
bald. Yeah, let's say in his shaved head.
Hmm.
So he's on set filming. We see Star Lord Peter Quill. I'm blanking on his real name. Um, he's on set, back in his regular costume. We see Thor is no longer bro Thor. He is back and he's fucking huge, ripped again. From some of the sets. So something that I do know is they're giving the mantle of Thor from Chris Hemsworth to Jane Foster.
Right.
In
Do you
the
see
com,
Natalie Portman? She's ripped. Do
no,
you
I
see?
haven't seen her.
She is buff as shit now.
So I do know that she is in the comics. Jane Foster becomes Thor because she has cancer.
Yeah.
and each time she like relinquishes the hammer, she like slowly dies a little more in the comics.
Hmm.
So, do you think she's going to have cancer in the show
Yeah, I could see that
movie?
being, I could see that being the route that they would go. I think it'd be interesting. It'd give Natalie Portman more to play with. I will say that
Damn, she is
I'm
big.
I'm not a fan of Natalie Portman. I kind of wish she wasn't coming back just because of the fit she was throwing for Thor 1 and 2.
Well, those are also shitty movies.
They were shitty movies, but also she was in them and signed a contract to be in them, movies that so many other actresses would want to be in the cinematic universe. But then suddenly Thor 3 is good and now she wants to come back. I don't know. It just seems they had to threaten her with her contract, like legally, to have her come back for Thor 2. I don't know.
She was also
Apparently
an
she did a
Endgame.
similar thing in Star Wars. So I was like, just don't bring her back. I don't know. But
Well,
they want to
I
do this, and they're bringing her in. She's becoming Thor now, which she is in the comics. So
I think there was a dispute. Like there was a dispute, and I think it was resolved. I think I don't know. I know Tiki Wakiti is
Taika.
the Taika is the director once again. So I think it was like something she was just unhappy with. But if you go back and look at like the people who have played Thor in the Thor movies that don't like the Thor movies, Idris Alba,
Hmm.
um, the guy who played the villain in the second Thor movie, the Dark Elf or whatever his name is,
Oh yeah. Uh huh.
he didn't like the movie. So those two Thor movies just have like a really bad like taste in people's mouths.
I
So
agree. If I try to put myself in her perspective, I can kind of see, she is a good actress, and her role was relinquished to going goo goo over Thor's body. Essentially, that was
hmm
her role, was just being in love with Thor. So there wasn't much. So I do like the idea. Okay, maybe she has cancer. She's dealing with that now. She's going to be Thor, so she's taking on a completely different role. There's going to be a lot more depth to her character. So, as kind of frustrated as I was to see her back, I do hope that she, I don't know, I kind of want to see some redemption there. She comes back, she comes back strong. I like how buff she is now. It tells
she's
me she's
huge.
really going after, she's committing to that role for sure. So,
Well, she's
um,
always been an actress to commit. Like even when she did that Black Swan movie, she like all the ballerina scenes are actually her.
yeah.
And so she's always been an actress who commits. And like one of my favorite female actresses who's because her talent level is just astonishing. She's a really great actress.
Hmm.
And Marvel, thank God they can bring another talent back because they lost Edward Norton from Creative Differences earlier, who's another talented actor.
I think he
And
did that to himself.
yeah, no, he 100% did that to himself.
Yeah.
Um, the guy who originally played Red Skull's not coming back for like issues. Um,
Yeah.
he's the guy who Matrix that played Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, I didn't feel like
Uh,
that was a big loss. I like the
um,
new guy.
yeah, the new guys from Walking Dead too.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so Marvel's lost Idris Alba didn't like the I think it was the obligation of having so many movies, but he's also been seen on set, so which is kind of funny, and I don't know how they're going to
Really?
bring him back. Yeah, I saw that today that he's been seen on set. So maybe he's just like another flashback, or maybe he's like Thor. You know when Thor went into the pond or like the little fountain,
Yeah,
and
yeah, that
so
well or
maybe he
something.
kind of talks to him like as a guide in like his spirits or something like that. So
That would be
because
cool.
yeah, Idris Alba was like his best friend. But I feel like I'm ranting on. I apologize to all of our audience. But
You're good.
uh, but I am excited, and I kind of want to see like, is she going to like imagine like what we're going to see with two Thors because Chris Hemsworth's not leaving anytime soon. If Natalie Portman like keeps this up and stays with the MCU this time around,
Hmm.
like imagine fighting a Kang or a Galactus with two Thors on our arsenal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and yeah, who knows what? Yeah, I don't know how it'll work. Thor is gonna be off with the Guardians because we saw him last with them at an Endgame, getting on board the Milano. So Thor, I guess, could be out in space doing whatever, and we could have Jane Foster protecting Midgard. So, because I guess she would have Mjolnir and
hmm
he would have Stormbreaker.
we also all the Guardians have been confirmed except for
Drax.
no, Drax is confirmed.
Oh, he
Uh
is.
uh Gamora. She
Oh,
is
okay.
not the one that's been confirmed, but everybody else has been confirmed.
Okay, interesting. So I guess, well, they're searching for Gamora, so I'm guessing maybe that's being saved for Guardians
Guardians Volume
3.
3.
Which, too, another thing, I think Guardians 3 was supposed to come out before Thor, so there's been quite a few changes, I'm sure,
But
there.
Guardians 3 also had their director fired, hired by another company. He made
Yeah.
a movie there, and then I think he's going to make a series and then come back.
Oh,
And
that's
he's,
Marvel and Twitter's fault for sure that we don't have a Guardians
oh,
right
100%.
now.
And
So,
then, well, I wouldn't even blame it Twitter's fault because he was a different person then. Like, I'm sure if we could look at some of your old Facebook posts and for sure some of my old tweets,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
there would definitely be some stuff where it's like, ugh, like this guy here.
Yeah, but just stop dredging it up, Twitter. I
Yeah,
don't know. That's a whole other
like,
topic, but
yeah,
Marvel should not have caved to it when they
100%.
know in a week nobody would give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, they clearly they botched it.
And I'm sure that script now is going to have to be like thrown out and reworked because we're having so many other things like that. Guardians is supposed to come out before the new Thor movie.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
everything that's going to happen in this Thor movie has to be like taken into account
Hmm.
when they're doing Guardians.
Yeah, so I'm sure there was quite a few adjustments going on between there. I
And
don't
that script was already done.
know, but yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah. I'm sure
But
both were. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out now because things we would have expected may not be the case as far as how they're gonna now maneuver both of these movies. But they have Thor coming out first, so I'm sure they figured it out. It may have the Guardians may have only had a small bit in that. For all
yeah,
we know, they could be dropping Thor off on Earth, and
on Midgard,
who
yeah.
knows? So yeah, Thor will be interesting. Gore the God Butcher will be interesting. There was another very interesting uh, casting leak as well that kind of ties into it. So a big name actor and a pretty important character. I don't know if you saw this one. Russell Crowe,
Yeah, he's playing
Zeus.
yes.
Yeah, Zeus, the Olympic god. So, which is interesting because now we're introducing Olympians into the Marvel universe. So it's
Well, we
not
already
just
had
Norse
Hela.
gods. No, Hela's Norse, I think.
I think Hela's an Olympian as well.
Well, she's Thor's sister.
Yeah, but I think she is an Olympian.
Okay, well, I'll keep going while you look that up. But
Yeah.
yeah. So Zeus, a big name character, or just person in general in mythology. Russell Crowe, big name actor. Yeah, he was the one that leaked it. I can't remember what exactly, but I guess Russell Crowe's so high caliber, Marvel that probably can't do anything about it. But he was the one that said, "Yeah, I'm in Marvel, or I'm in Thor, and I'm playing
Oh,
Zeus."
you're right. She's Norse mythology,
Okay, but this could open the door to other characters.
like
Uh,
Hercules.
Hercules would be a big one that I would like to see show up as a potential Avenger and into the rest. Also, I'd mentioned Christian Bale's character Gore the God Butcher. We probably need a lot of gods in the movie so that he can go kill them. So maybe Russell Crowe won't survive for too long in this movie because Gore. Oh, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna get deep into like
No, go ahead.
Gore's.
I was just
Oh,
gonna mention a couple of other people that have been hired, like Matt Damon's brought back to
probably
play.
cameo though, isn't he?
Yeah,
As like a
Chris,
actor.
yeah, Chris Hemsworth's brother Luke Hemsworth, I guess his name is,
Yeah,
has
Luke
been brought,
Hemsworth.
and then Melissa McCarthy to play
Is it
Hela.
Luke? Is it Luke or is it the other brother?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I know it's another Hemsworth
I'm
brother,
blanking on the.
but and then as well as Melissa McCarthy to play Hela.
That'll be good.
But go ahead. So go ahead into your what you're gonna say.
Yeah, so as far as Gore the God Butcher, because probably most people haven't heard of him, but he's
Mm-mm.
a pretty interesting character. So he's more of like a I don't know. He lives on another planet, and it's a planet that's basically going through a drought, and his people, Gore's people, are all in suffering, trying not to starve, trying to get water, and they pray to the gods to save them, basically. So Gore is all the time like, okay, we need to do something, and all his people and like his wife, and they're all like, Let's pray for it. The gods will take care of us if we just take a moment to pray. Eventually, they'll help us. Well, over time, the gods aren't helping, they're not listening, so Gore is becoming more and more pissed off at the gods until eventually his people, I think they like disown him because he wants to go do something. He goes off on his own thing, but basically his people die. And the backstory essentially is Gore is like going through, I think it's like the desert. I can't remember exactly the locale, but he comes across two gods fighting, and one of them is dying, and he asks Gore for help in some way, and Gore is like really pissed off because he's like, you're asking me for help when we have been praying to you for so long now. He's just pissed off. He hates them, but he finds this sword in this battle that's like what's it called, it gives him power
Hours.
essentially. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the damn sword, of course, because I but so yeah, Gore takes it upon himself basically to eliminate the gods because they've been so useless and he hates them. So that's pretty much the arc for him. He'll be pretty interesting. So of course he'll, you know, go toe to toe with Thor at some point
Mm-hmm.
as well.
The sword
And
name's God Killer.
I thought it was something else.
Oh no, damn it, that's DC's at base. Go ahead,
Oh, okay.
continue. Go ahead, go ahead. Continue what you're saying.
Oh, I thought you were reading. Okay. Yeah, so Gore will be quite the imposing force. I'm excited to see Christian Bale handle that because I think that gives him a lot of depth and emotion to play with as
Mm-hmm.
he's, kind of experiencing this, watching his people die and, not, and being so reliant on the gods. Um,
God
and it,
Bomb.
no, that's something else.
Damn it. All right, we'll just
It's like
continue.
a necro sword or something like that. I can't. It's not that, but yeah, God Bomb is something else.
Damn
But
it. All
no,
right.
Gore is a pretty imposing characters, and it sounds like if we're introducing more gods, that he's going to be killing quite a
A
few
handful of
gods.
gods. Yeah.
Yeah, on Olympus, and yeah, I don't know that Zeus will make it out. I would expect Hercules, if they're introducing Hercules, that he would make it through because I think he'd be more prominent in the universe as an
Oh,
Avenger.
currently on according to Marvel.fandom.com, he doesn't have any weapons.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Do you want to talk about Thor for a second while I Google this?
Yeah,
Because my brain fart is,
it's killing us.
yeah.
Um, but no, and like by looking at the for I'm sorry for our audio audience, but for definitely for the visual audience, you're gonna see a picture of them. You can clearly see it's gonna be something like very CGI, and hopefully they do a really good job where it's very similar to like I don't know if you remember Pirates of the Caribbean when they did that one guy's like squid face, but
Oh,
hope,
yeah.
hopefully it's something like up to that because even like that movie was made like in like I want to say like 2008. That movie still looks really really good and we're in 2021. So it's been a while, and that movie still looks the bomb.com. Um,
Maybe it's not a sword. The all black. That's what I'm looking for. The all black. I think he can turn it into a weapon, almost kind of like a
gotcha.
symbiote style. There's always this image that I see of him fighting Thor, and he's got this sword. Maybe I'll send it to you so you can put it on
Yeah.
YouTube visually. But yeah, the all black. That's where he's getting his power from. Sorry, it's bothering the hell out of me. Okay, continue.
No, I was just kind of ranting on about how his looks. So his looks should be really cool because he's like he has long like tentacles like coming out of his like head and like they're super long and he looks very very cool.
Mhm.
Um, so hopefully he looks like kind of like a squid man, no nose,
That's
like
probably a good way to describe it. Yeah,
our
he's like a pale.
pale. He's like Voldemort with but with like a squid's tentacles coming out of his head.
Yeah, that's actually a good way to describe it. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So for our audio audience, I'm sorry, but for visual, you'll definitely get a picture of them
Yeah.
or a couple pictures of them. I'll throw up there. Um, but that's all I got for Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, we can move on to the next one.
Next one is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Movie comes out July 8th, 2022. I heard that they've had to rewrite the script already,
Yeah.
uh, because of Chadwick Boseman's passing, R.I.P. And but this one, instead of focusing on like a certain person, they're going to focus on Wakanda in general, I heard.
Hmm.
So it's going to have like everything about what makes Wakanda so special. Other than that, I don't know anything else about this movie, if I'm being
I
honest.
don't think anyone does. I think this is still very vague. I don't know if I know a while back after Chadwick's passing, Marvel was even like, yeah, we don't really know yet, after a while. So it sounds like they do have a script together. It sounds like cast
Hmm.
members have seen the script and have said that it is I can't remember their wording, but it's
A
a good
tribute to,
tribute to
yeah,
yeah, to Chadwick.
Chadwick.
So I imagine I don't know. Yeah, we'd have to speculate on how exactly they're going to handle it. I think they've said that they're not going to CGI Chadwick in
Correct.
at all. So I don't know if that means we won't get it like a visual of him in the when he goes to the man, I'm blanking on so many
Oh,
worlds.
that the forest kind of thing with the other kings.
Yeah, where he can see all the dead
Yeah.
like prior Black Panthers.
I know what you're talking
So,
about.
because it'd be cool to see him in there. I guess maybe they could superimpose his face on there, but I don't know. He doesn't have to speak, but
Uh, I don't know. I think you just keep his face away, his
maybe,
T'Challa, that whole character away.
yeah.
I did also hear that like Marvel's been discussing maybe recasting him down the line, like a couple years, because they've like established Black Panther as such like an important character in the MCU already,
Mhm.
and to not have T'Challa is going to kind of like probably hurt their plans like long term because
That is a rough one, yeah.
I think Kevin Feige also said like they had this shit mapped out to like 2035 or some shit. Like he has like crazy mapping.
I believe him. Yeah, I
So
think you have to.
to have like, a main player in your games like like, unfortunately die so
Mhm.
soon, I think it's just really like, it's tough. So you
Yeah.
want to be respectful to his family, his legacy, as well as like even though the fans should come second in that matter,
Right, right, for sure.
um, it's tough for the fans as well because you know Marvel right now is putting out content and products at such a high level. They don't want that to dip at all, but that shouldn't matter at the end of the day. It should be about you know maintaining his legacy and not diminishing what he did before he passed.
Yeah, and that is tough. How do you continue to tell a story while also being respectful of
Yeah,
what came before? So it is a tough position because obviously nobody could plan for this. But it from what we're hearing so far, it does sound like it will be respectful. I'm nervous to see this because I feel like it's gonna be such a tearjerker. I
yeah.
usually don't like to go to movies that I'm gonna cry during. I feel like this is gonna be a tough one, but I think it will be. I'm sure it'll be very promising too. I know. The question often is, maybe they bring back Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan, to
To take
somehow
over.
take over. He's been saying he's been receptive to the idea. He said like that the cast and crew of Black Panther, are family to him, and that he sounded like receptive and open. Lately, he's said like maybe there's like a 2 out of 10 chance that he could come back because he's like I never want to say never, but it's like I don't know
Well, he just did that movie
without
on,
remorse.
yeah, which if you haven't seen it, it's pretty good.
I need to
It's
still.
like it's like a 6 out of 10,
Okay.
but it's starting a whole another universe over there. Like more,
Mm,
Amazon's starting a Tom Clancy universe, so it'd be kind of hard for Michael B. Jordan to do his Tom Clancy universe, maintaining his presence in MCU, and then doing other creative projects that are, you know, that interest him.
that's true. Yeah, I
So
could
it,
see him maybe being more inclined to do like a handoff. Like I've heard people say that maybe they somehow bring Killmonger back through like a multiverse thing and he trains Shuri, or something like that. And so he's kind of
mhm.
handing off. I could see something like that. I would, yeah. I still don't know that I want the next Black Panther to be Shuri per se, but
So this is a bad, terrible idea that would get a ton of hate if it happened. But how would you feel about not bringing the Black Panther back, but instead bringing the White Wolf back and Bucky
God,
being the main character of Black Panther.
get a
Like
lot of hate.
it'd get a lot of hate, but he has connections to the Wakandans as the
Yeah.
White Wolf, and they'd accept him. I don't think they'd accept him as like their king and leader,
Hmm.
but it'd be cool to see him wear a White Wolf costume.
Hmm.
Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
It could be kind of neat. Yeah, the White Wolf in general, White Wolf is a character from the comics, but it's a different like person. It's not Bucky, so they're
No,
kind
I
of
think they're
blending
using
two
yeah,
characters. Yeah, so the White Wolf himself was always it was a white guy in Wakanda who was, kind of taken in by them, and he, like Bucky, I guess, became like, or not necessarily like Bucky, couldn't be the Black Panther, but T'Chaka did make the White Wolf like head of their, private security, or I can't remember
something
the
like
technical
that.
names. So he was like a, yeah, very high up security, and yeah, but sometimes the White Wolf was more antagonistic towards T'Challa because
Hmm.
he wanted the mantle and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with Bucky. I imagine Bucky's kind of doing his own thing. They said
I
that at the end of the Falcon show that the end credits was gonna say White Wolf, Captain America and White Wolf, but they didn't want
but they
that to
didn't.
be too distracting and take away from the Captain America.
Do you think he's going to be cameo in Black Panther?
I've wondered about that. I can't imagine. I don't think so. It would make sense, but also I feel like you're trying to do so much in this Black Panther movie. You're trying to pay tribute to Chadwick and kind of figure things out moving forward in this in such a beloved universe in a
Mm,
respectful way, and maybe bring in a new Black Panther, or some sort of somebody to take up the mantle. Not necessarily new T'Challa, but maybe Shuri takes up Black Panther or something. You're trying to develop all of these things. I think bringing Bucky White Wolf in might be a little bit much, unless maybe he's there as like a favor to help train. But you got the Dora Milaje, so
yeah,
I
I say
don't
you don't need
know.
to train him. You have to do him a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know what they would use him for
Plus,
necessarily.
you know what? Remember, Killmonger burned all their flowers,
He
so
did,
so
yeah.
they would have to. I don't know how they're going to bring that flower back,
Hmm.
and if Shuri is to take it, like
That's
to
true.
become enhanced.
I read because I was curious on the White Wolf, so I was reading a little bit about him, and apparently White Wolf ended up like working with Killmonger, and Killmonger was able to give White Wolf a synthetic of the herb, like kind of
Hmm.
like a manufactured version. So I guess they could do something like that if they wanted, if there's some
Interesting.
sort of synthetic herb. But
Interesting. Interesting.
or I guess you
Interesting.
could always write like, oh, he missed one,
Yeah.
oh, it started growing again, something like
Hmm.
that. You could always just hand wave it,
Yeah. But
especially in these circumstances.
absolutely. I don't have anything else for Black Panther.
Yeah, it's still a big mystery. I'm
Well, the
anxious to
next
learn more about that.
along with Black Panther, but as well as like the next couple of movies are going to be just like mysteries because we don't have anything on them. So it's just going to be our speculation. The only thing that's been confirmed as of the recording of this podcast is the release dates.
Right.
Other than that, um, I don't have anything else on them.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we're kind of having to breeze through and
Yeah,
just kind of drip feed info that we know on this and be more speculative. But I imagine we're going to spend a lot of time on each of these shows as we get closer and closer. So
correct.
we're kind of just trying to have some fun and touch on each one a little bit. It's a weird sentence. Keep
So
going.
the next one is The Marvels, which is going to be the sequel to Captain Marvel. The release date is November 11, 2022. Um, from what I could see, obviously Brie Larson, Captain Marvel's coming back, but I also saw Miss Marvel's going to be in it, and so's Rambo from
A WandaVision,
WandaVision. Yeah.
yeah, Spectrum or whichever name she's taken up. I think it's
Hmm.
Spectrum.
So I heard all three of them are going to be in it. So that's going to be kind of interesting. Other than that, I have literally nothing, no ideas of where it could go. I do know it's probably going to be set like in the present, but that's it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure because we don't really know what Captain Marvel's been up to, and a couple little hints that we've heard have almost sounded more negative. with Talos saying don't invoke her name, in Spider-Man Far From Home. And
Hmm.
then Monica seemed pretty hesitant to speak about Captain Marvel during WandaVision. So,
I think that's just because they hold her with such high respect. Like, this is a terrible analogy, but you know, back in the Nazi days, they didn't just say Hitler's name, because they respected him so much.
oh, they
Like,
call him like the Führer or whatever.
yeah, but no, just in general, they didn't say his name at all. They didn't recall him. I think it's something like that.
It could be. I could see that reading.
Especially Tylo. I don't know about Rambo,
Monica, yeah, Monica
Monica,
Rambo. Hmm.
but I could definitely see Tylo because yeah, because he did say, "Don't speak her name or don't invoke her name."
Yeah, I could see the dual meaning with him for sure, or the dual reading. Monica's, I wish I could remember specifically, but it did seem more like she didn't like she had some sort of grudge with Carol. So I'm not sure. I could be reading that wrong. You could have it correct, but I'm very curious to see what exactly Captain Marvel has been up to. And now we have Spectrum. I'm interested to see how Kamala Khan Miss Marvel ties into that because in the Marvel's logo, the S is Kamala's logo. So that's what's leading us to believe that she will in fact be there, and she does take on Captain Marvel's old name of Miss Marvel in the
Hmm.
comics because Carol Danvers was Miss Marvel, and then she took the name Captain Marvel. And then, as Kamala Khan is just a huge fan of Captain Marvel, so she took on the Miss Marvel name when she kind of needed one. So didn't really ask permission or anything like that. That's kind of the fun of
Asshole.
it. Yeah, she just kind of says
Which
it. So
her costume has been revealed. They showed her comparing
yeah,
it to the video game as well as comic book, and it looks very accurate. Looks
yeah,
really
I
good.
think it looks good. Yeah, I think they did a good job on the suit.
I'm not
So
excited for that series either.
me either. Kamala Khan is
What?
usually one that can go either way. Sometimes they play up the like nerdy fangirl thing to an annoying level. So it kind of depends. I trust Marvel to do it right. The Avengers game did a
That's
very good job
what I was
with.
gonna ask. You played the game. Did you like her in the game? Because she's the main
Yeah,
character in the game.
yeah. She was actually
Unfortunately,
really no. She was portrayed very well. I liked her a lot in that.
well, I'm
The
saying
actress even won an award for her
unfortunate,
portrayal.
unfortunately, because if you play an Avengers game, I'm sure you'd want to be more Captain America, Hulk, Iron Man more than Camilla. That's what I'm saying.
Kamala. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
Kamala. Yeah,
I guess I don't want I shouldn't get too far into the game, but that was a
yeah.
complaint a lot of people had was they wanted to play as the Avengers. But this is a storytelling opportunity for them
Hmm.
to have like a new character that's a little bit younger as kind of the window into the Marvel universe, and she's
Yeah.
kind of going through and introducing you to those characters. I think it was done well. I think as much
Gotcha.
as the game maybe gets hate, even though I'm not really into that, I think it's a little bit undeserved, but the story, most people can agree,
Should the
is
fans buy
very
the
good.
Should the fans buy the game? That's what we're just trying to ask, Jesse. Should we buy the game?
Yeah, because it's like $30. It's super cheap now because they keep cutting the price. Yeah, yeah, you should. The story is really good. But yeah, Kamala is the main character in that. I read Kamala's comic or one of her series for a little bit. I didn't go too far into it, but it was really funny. It was really kind of enjoyable. She's a really quirky character. She's,
Okay.
her family and her support system, the characters around her are very interesting. It's fun seeing her dynamic and come into being a superhero kind of awkwardly. So she brings a fun dynamic, and I think if they can nail the writing and get that correct and make her charismatic, then I definitely would be invested in that, but nobody really knows the actress. I think she's new. I don't know that she's acted in
Yeah, I'm
anything.
not.
And then so yeah, yeah, there's a lot of mystery up there. I think just looking at set photos can be deceiving. You don't really know much about it. So I'm not going to write her off yet. I'm glad to see that she's in the movie. I think that'll be kind of a neat dynamic. I wasn't expecting her to be in it. I
Yeah.
expected her and Captain Marvel to meet at some point, but yeah, I
Well,
didn't
I
expect it to
definitely
be
thought Maria was going to be in it just because uh
Monica or Maria.
Monica
Okay.
Rambo, yeah. Just because she I just feel like she has to be in it because she's connected to Captain Marvel so
For
well.
sure.
Um, you're right, that is her first role. The
Okay.
Kamala, girl playing Kamala, that's her first role.
Good for her. That's one hell of a start.
Right?
Damn. I'm jealous.
It's
Yeah, that's
hey, it's
cool as
only up
well.
from there. Or I mean,
Yeah,
you don't go anywhere else. You could end up like Cyborg.
that's true.
Uh,
But
R.I.P.
I'm sure she'll have a
Yeah.
better shot.
But fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, I guess we'll see. There's only one. Only time will tell.
Yeah, I wonder when this will release in relation to Secret Invasion, that Disney Plus show,
Yeah.
because
Well,
with Carol's,
Do you
with
think
this
Captain
world,
Marvel is gonna be in Miss Marvel? She pops in for like a cameo.
she could. I mean, now seeing that the Marvels is what Captain Marvel 2 is being called, seeing that Kamala's gonna have a part in that, I would
Hmm.
think maybe she would show up and kind of be like, "Hey, heard you took my name." Or
Or
I guess
maybe
Carol
she.
never went by Miss Marvel in
Maybe
the
she like started. It's like she saved her or something. Like she's like, oh my god, I want to be just like you when I grow up, and she's like, I'm Miss Marvel. That's what I'm thinking.
maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they'll do it because I know in the comics Carol went by Miss Marvel, but I don't think she has in the MCU at all.
Yeah,
So
no, she hasn't.
I guess I mean you can always just she can say I'm not Captain Marvel, but I am Miss Marvel, or I don't know. You can do whatever you want
Yeah,
with that, but it would be neat since it is in reference to Carol that maybe Carol shows up, or that maybe it's Spectrum. Maybe I don't know. I don't know why Spectrum would come find Kamala. Yeah, I'm not sure. I could see them tying it in that way if maybe Miss Marvel leads into the Marvels, kind of the same way WandaVision is leading into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure, honestly.
Well, let's move on because we have three movies left.
Okay.
On those three movies, we don't know anything but release dates and like one detail per movie.
Mhm.
So Ant-Man Quantumania, February
Yeah.
20, and now we're in February 23, 20 February 23rd, 2023.
Okay.
The only thing that's been confirmed is Kang is the villain.
Yes, they've cast Kang the Conqueror, a time traveling villain. So more time travel.
Yes, and
And
that's
it's Quantumania, so I guess we're experiencing
more
more.
quad the quantum realm.
Yeah.
And of course, Paul Rudd's going to be back. The actress playing Wasp, I think Michael Douglas is supposed to come back. Michelle
Yeah,
Pfeiffer.
sure.
Do you think we're getting a reappearance of Ghost? I don't
Maybe.
think so.
I don't know that you need to.
I think she's like a one and done actress for the MCU. I don't see her coming back unless she comes back in the Thunderbolts later on.
Yeah, I could see something like that. That could be interesting. They could probably just name drop her or whatever and given her they could go back for more quantum particles for her. And I wonder if I believe I've seen speculation that you remember in Ant-Man 1 when they go in the quantum realm and there was like what looks to be like a little tiny city in there.
No, I don't.
Yeah, well, at one point there's like what looks to be a small city, and it was kind of set up that that could be a thing, and it's never really been revealed. And I think I've seen that maybe Kang has some sort of city
In
there.
the quantum realm.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
that's super funny. I've never seen it because Ant Man's number 6 on my all time Marvel movie list.
Oh, he's pretty high up there.
I love Ant Man.
I like it
Not the
too. It
character,
gets
but that movie.
yeah, that movie's really good. Yeah, a lot of people rank it lower, so I'm glad that I like that movie a lot too. I think I'm glad a lot of people were saying I don't care about Ant-Man 3. It doesn't need another. No, I want an Ant-Man 3. So I'm glad that we are getting another one. And it's exciting. Kang is a pretty big deal. He's
Yeah.
a very interesting character.
Hopefully.
And that
Go ahead.
yeah, oh no, I was just saying that it's not just Kang too. Like he does so much time traveling mischief.
Hmm.
Also, along with that, we got Loki and the Time Variance Authority
Yeah.
already setting up some time travel stuff. So that could probably tie
And
into Ant
Kang
Man and the
could
Wasp.
become the next big bad. Like they could set this up to make him like Ant Man stops him, and then he's like, "Oh, I gotta like do better," and then they have to like get the Avengers to stop him.
Oh yeah. He's a big threat because he's like in the future. You can find there's like different versions of Kang that will sometimes interact with each other. There's one called Iron Lad, which I think becomes a new Avenger. He's kind of like an Iron Man type, but it's a version of Kang. And
Kang.
you know
Hmm.
sometimes he tries to stop his future self. Like crazy, a lot of craziness, which would be perfect for Ant-Man and the Wasp. But
Yeah,
yeah, but it would have that could easily lead into some sort of Avengers level threat with Kang the Conqueror. Yeah, so yeah, I'm excited to see where they go with that. There's a lot you can do with Kang.
absolutely. So the second to last movie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which we kind of touched on earlier, that comes out May 5th, 2023. Um, Other than that, we know, the cast is going to be back, and more than likely, I think it's just going to be kind of centered around finding Gamora.
Gamora, yeah. There's also going to be a holiday special on Disney Plus
Yeah.
that James Gunn has written that's supposed to lead into Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I think he said that they're going to film them at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, holiday special next year, not this year. So, yeah, if 2023 is Guardians 3, then holiday 2022, you'll get a Disney Plus show for some sort of holiday special around the Guardians Christmas themed. So, I think you're right. I would expect that it would be at least part of it would be about finding Gamora.
Maybe trying to bring her memory up to date about her and Peter Quill's life. They were like, starting to get their life together, like how
Mhm.
they're falling in love. Maybe something like centered around that as well. Um,
Yeah,
Other than that, I really don't know what else it could be. Hopefully, we do get some funny Drax lines because we've gotten some great ones over the years. Where if like nothing goes over my head, I'll catch it. Or when he's asking how big Peter's dad's dong is,
yeah,
because but other than that, like or him just calling Mantis ugly. But hopefully, we get some really good Drax moments as well. But other than that, I don't have anything for Guardians 3.
yeah. That one is especially mysterious because, like we were saying, it was supposed to come out, I think, in 2021, and then there was or maybe even 2020. Then
Something.
James Gunn got fired and all of that nonsense, and now he's back. So who knows how much this script has shifted?
It has to shift
Yeah.
a lot
So, because yeah, what was very close to the beginning of Phase 4 is now
at the end of
at the
Phase 4.
end. Yeah. So not much is known about Guardians of the Galaxy just yet. Just that we know the script is complete and that there's going to
Yeah.
be a holiday special and all of that. But I guess we can get to the big one. You
Yes.
ready?
To end Phase 4, we're giving you the Fantastic Four.
Yes.
Like that transition.
Yeah.
Um, so we get the Fantastic Four logo at the end of this trailer, but we don't get a release date, and we know absolutely nothing about this movie.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, as far as the release date, I would expect it to be in 2023. If
Yeah.
we're getting, so we have Ant-Man and Guardians. You said Ant-Man was in February and then Guardians
Guardians
was
is
in
in May.
May.
So more than likely, we're probably getting this movie like around November, because that's like the trend they've been doing.
I guess
Like,
it would depend on if they want like 4 movies a year, then this could be late summer, kind of like early fall, and then phase 5 could begin at the end of 2023. I don't
yeah.
know. I
Are,
guess it depends. I mean, it could be, but I would say that I would expect Fantastic Four to be at the end of 2023, just because we only have
yeah.
2 movies, pretty much front loading 2023. So I would expect Marvel to end the year with some sort of big movie as well, because they
See,
seem to be going for 3 to 4 movies
yeah, and that's
a
what I'm saying.
year.
So for sure it'd be 2023, but I
Hmm.
think it'd probably be like around like maybe August, September, and then you have another one in December,
Yeah, I would be cool with maybe Phase 5 being in
starting in
like the
December.
winter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. With something. The only Phase 5 we know is Blade. Is
Yes. Blade
that
is the
right?
only
I think that's
confirmed.
the only
That's the only confirmed
Mahershala
Phase
Ali
Five
being
movie,
Blade.
which we
Hmm.
have yet to see or hear anything about. I don't know if a
Yeah,
script's been done yet.
I don't know either. We know the actor, and that's it.
Do you have any um choices that you want for Fantastic Four? Like if you could select anybody to be, not like, obviously you love Silver Surfer and we've talked about that, but
Hmm.
somebody that's in the Fantastic Four, Richard, Johnny, Sue, or I forget the Thing's main name. And
Ben Grimm. Hmm.
yeah, Ben, do you have an actor or an actress that you want in one of those roles off the top of your head?
Well, I was talking with some people in Discord, and I like. Well, of course, there's Reed Richards and Sue Storm, John Krasinski, and
and
Emily
Emily
Blunt are
Blunt.
like the big ones that everyone wants. I agree with that. I think that's great casting in that. I mean, they already have the chemistry because they're a married couple, so
Yeah,
that works out perfectly. They're both fantastic actors. They both look like they would embody those characters very well. Yeah, I think that's great if you can get them. I didn't know this. I didn't know Emily Blunt was the one who got the Black Widow role
just turned
before
it down.
Scarlet, and then she had to turn it down because of another movie. So she
Yeah,
was almost Black
for
Widow.
that movie with Tom Cruise, like No Tomorrow or something like that.
Oh, I heard it was Gulliver's Travels. So I
Maybe
don't
it was
know.
that. I don't know.
Maybe it was both. I don't know.
Maybe.
But
Um,
yeah, I think it's fate now that you got them two to be ushering in the first family.
I
That would
think
be
they
really
have to
cool.
bring Chris Evans back as Johnny Storm. No, I'm joking. I'm
Nah,
joking. I'm joking.
okay. I loved him as Johnny
I
Storm,
did
but
too.
he's not coming back.
Um, if I could select, so if I'm gonna be like a little more difficult and not pick John just because that's the easy choice,
Hmm.
I would pick Keanu Reeves as Richard.
He's too old.
Is he?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that's the perfect role for him because he gets to do some stuff. He can show his acting ability, and
Keanu Keanu doesn't have I love Keanu. He does not have that kind of range. He does
what?
not have range. You
You
give him a
are
very stoic character and let him do that. That's why John Wick is perfect.
Neo in the Matrix is perfect.
Yes, same thing.
That's so mean. I
I'm just
think
saying you
I
gotta
think you
play
give
to
him the
his strengths, and
okay. So what about this? Christian Bale CGI'd in Thor. What if you used Christian Bale as Reed Richards?
I guess I don't know. I don't really like Christian Bale as Reed Richards either. Keanu might be a good Silver Surfer if he could get. I guess
Because
because
he's stoic and doesn't say anything.
yeah, he's pretty straight up.
That's so fucked up.
Although Silver Surfer has a lot of like internal like
Issues. Well,
monologue
John
and
Wick does.
struggles.
John Wick has a lot of internal
Yeah, but I'm
struggles as well.
saying the actor would need to display a lot of internal like emotions through their facial expressions. I don't know that Keanu could do that. I think he can display anger.
That's so. You're crushing on
Am
my
I
boy.
am I wrong?
I think so. I think Keanu is a very good actor. I
I
think he
love Keanu. I get excited to see him in things. I love John Wick. I've seen him in other movies, and he does not have that kind of range.
maybe he doesn't do it for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I think he'd be a good Reed Richards. If I'm just
yeah.
trying to pick like a sleeper that like nobody, because I didn't want to go with the grain. I was trying to go against it when I picked Keanu.
No, I got you. I took the easy
Easy
one,
route,
but
yeah.
that's the one that I want too. I want them to get it as well. I would be
And
a little bit disappointed if
and
they're not cast.
if I had to pick somebody for Johnny Storm, I'd pick the
Zach,
guy from huh?
I was gonna say
No,
Zach Efron.
no, he's the easy choice as well.
Yeah, I like
I
him.
the guy who plays in Kingsman, I forget his name.
Oh,
Um,
yeah,
he was like thought of to be like Wolverine for a little bit, but I
yeah,
think he'd be a really good Johnny Storm.
yeah. I don't know that I see that one, but
No, I just hating on all my picks tonight.
I
All
don't
right.
know. That's why I don't play this game with you. We
Yeah.
never agree on these.
They're not meant to be agreeable. They're just meant to make you think.
But Fantastic Four, yeah, definitely officially coming and at the end of Phase 4.
Hmm.
And what do you think the odds are that we'll get Doctor Doom too?
I think he has to be the like. I think he has to be the villain for Fantastic Four. Like you can't, and if he's not the villain, he's definitely going to be in the movie as Victor Doom. Like Victor Doom's going to be 100% in the movie, I think, but we might not be Doctor Doom.
Yeah, I think Victor Von Doom would at least make an appearance as that character if he hasn't gone full blown Doctor Doom yet. I think still I really hope and like that they could maybe do the making Sokovia Latveria the
Hmm.
country where Doom rules. I think that would be really cool. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there. Um, I know it's usually there's been two Fantastic Four movies already, and both used Doom right out the gate, and both kind of failed at it. So, but I could see if maybe Marvel's a little bit hesitant on throwing him out there first,
Yeah.
but
Well, we've
because
also
maybe you
seen
want to develop him until he becomes Doom. Maybe that's
you
like
al-
the end
you,
credit.
you also see Marvel like the first Spider-Man, we had Green, not Marvel, but first Spider-Man, Green Goblin, and then in the second time of Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man 2, you had Green Goblin. It's just an easy person to do. So Marvel has shown that they don't like to go like necessarily the easy route to bring somebody around,
Right, yeah, they like to try different.
and they like
So,
to add more characters to the roster.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think you have to cast a Von Doom. Just he may not evolve into Doctor Doom immediately.
Reed Richards, Topher Grace.
Read Topher
That's a joke.
Grace.
That's a joke. That's a joke.
Okay, like Jesus Christ.
You should have saw your face. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got for Fantastic Four as well. Unless you want to add anything else.
No, I don't think so. It's the most mysterious one, but also my most
Absolutely.
anticipated one. I'm excited to see what they do. I think that Marvel can get the Fantastic Four right. I said there were two movies. There's technically like three Fantastic Four movies. I just want to
We don't
state
count
that.
that
I
one.
think Doom might even be the villain. I didn't watch it yet,
We don't.
but
I've never watched. I
I
don't
haven't
plan to
seen it.
watch it.
I want
Um,
to, but
Fantastic Four is your most anticipated. Spider Man is still mine, and then Doctor Strange because Spider Man is my favorite character right after Wolverine, and then Doctor Strange. I love that movie, so I can't wait to see what they do with the new genre.
and Doctor Strange, I felt was a little bit weak the first time around. So
Interesting.
I'm hoping that it's kind of like a Captain America Civil War scenario for Strange
Where it
with
gets better each time.
Multiverse of Madness, where it's like a huge leap. I just didn't like that it followed the traditional story arc of like the old school like origin movie. Watch them kind of become the hero, and then at
I
the
mean,
end, there.
I guess. I
It's
guess,
just
but
I don't
I
know.
guess. I guess. I guess I can say that.
No, I mean I've seen my wife loves the Doctor Strange movie. It's one of her favorites too, but it's like I'm really there for like the last hour of the movie.
Yeah,
So no, it's a good one, but I'm thinking Multiverse of Madness can really like
up it.
skyrocket it. The way that Captain America First Avenger was like, all right, and then Winter Soldier was like, whoa, that was phenomenal. So I'm
Yeah,
expecting that from Multiverse of Madness. But yeah, I guess we've gone on
yeah.
quite a while.
I think we kept you guys for 2 hours. If you've made it all the way through.
Hmm. Well, in that case, we will definitely be back with more. We still got to go through all the Disney Plus
Plus,
shows and talk about
so
some of those. We'll try to kind of make those into little more bite-sized pieces. Maybe only pick a few episodes to talk
be ready
about at
for
a
that.
moment.
Be on the lookout for that.
Yep. So we'll be coming back with that next week. But in the meantime, thank you for watching and listening, and we'll talk to you in the next one.
Peace out.